Here's something nobody tells you at your checkup. The belly fat millions of Americans over 60 have been trying to lose for years isn't just a cosmetic issue, it is a warning sign. Right now, for a significant portion of the American population over 60, visceral fat is sitting wrapped around the liver, pressing against the pancreas, crowding the intestines, quietly driving up the risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, and even early cognitive decline. And the reason your waistline keeps growing, even though you are eating less than you did 20 years ago, has nothing to do with willpower, nothing to do with discipline. It has everything to do with biology that nobody ever sat down and explained to you, and 9 specific everyday foods that work with that biology instead of against it. Stick with me, because what I am about to share changes the entire conversation about belly fat after 60. Before we go any further, do me a favor. Subscribe right here to the Dr. Weston channel and leave that like. It takes 5 seconds and it genuinely makes a difference. We are building toward 10,000 subscribers, and this channel exists for one reason only: to tell you what your doctor does not have the time or the 7-minute appointment to explain. The pharmaceutical companies and the insurance industry do not profit from you getting healthier on your own. But I do want to see you get healthier. That is the whole point. I am Dr. Weston, and for 15 years I have been studying what actually happens to the human body after 60. The hormonal shifts, the metabolic slowdown, the changes in your gut bacteria that nobody warned you about. Today we are going through 9 everyday foods that actively help your body fight the most dangerous kind of fat there is. None of these are expensive supplements or trendy powders. Most of them are sitting in your local grocery store right now. A few are probably already in your kitchen. Let's get into it. Number 9, garlic. You have probably crushed a clove of garlic and had that sharp, pungent smell hit you almost instantly. That smell comes from a compound called allicin. And here is something most people never know. Allicin only forms after garlic is chopped or crushed. Cook it whole and you have left the most powerful part of it sitting on the cutting board, doing nothing. Researchers have been studying allicin for years because of how it appears to interact with two of the biggest drivers of belly fat accumulation: inflammation and blood sugar. After 60, something called low-grade chronic inflammation tends to creep upward throughout the body. You cannot feel it the way you feel a swollen knee, but scientists believe it is quietly disrupting metabolic efficiency, making it harder for your body to burn stored fat and easier for visceral fat to dig in and stay put. The sulfur compounds in garlic have been studied for supporting a healthy inflammatory response and better circulation, which matters because every organ involved in your metabolism, your liver, your pancreas, your intestines, depends on steady blood flow to do its job. There is also the blood sugar connection. When blood sugar stays more stable, insulin does not have to constantly spike, and your body gets a better shot at pulling from stored fat for fuel instead of layering on more. Here's a simple trick worth knowing. After you chop or crush fresh garlic, let it sit for about 10 minutes before it hits the heat. That short rest allows more allicin to form naturally, and you preserve more of the benefit even after cooking. Toss it into sautéed vegetables, chicken, fish, soups, a homemade pasta sauce. Garlic brings a lot more to the table than flavor. And speaking of underrated kitchen staples, the next food has carried an unfair reputation for decades, and it is time to set the record straight. Number 8, lentils and beans. Most people file beans under boring side dish and move on. Researchers see them very differently, as one of the most effective foods available for controlling the blood sugar spikes directly tied to visceral fat buildup. Here's why this matters. Every time you eat something that spikes your blood sugar fast, white bread, a cookie, a bowl of sweetened cereal, your body floods your system with insulin to pull that sugar back down. Insulin is necessary, but when it is chronically elevated, it signals your body to store more fat, and it stores that fat preferentially right around the abdomen. Over months and years, this is one of the central reasons visceral fat accumulates even in people who feel like they are eating reasonably well. Beans, lentils, black beans, chickpeas, kidney beans digest slowly. They release energy gradually, which keeps insulin on a much steadier keel. They are also packed with two things your gut bacteria desperately need: soluble fiber and resistant starch. Your gut microbiome does far more than handle digestion. It influences your body's inflammatory response, your appetite signals, your blood sugar regulation, and how efficiently your metabolism handles fat storage versus fat burning. A bowl of lentil soup on a weeknight, a black bean chili, a simple bean salad thrown together in 10 minutes, a few times a week, these can genuinely move the needle over time. And the best part is, beans are inexpensive, they fill you up, and they are about as versatile as food gets. Sometimes the biggest health wins do not come in an expensive container with a celebrity endorsing it. They come from the humble staples that have quietly fed people for generations. Remember that. Next up is a food that spent years getting blamed for something it never actually caused. Number 7. Eggs. For a long time, eggs took a beating over cholesterol concerns. That conversation has shifted considerably. Current research suggests eggs can absolutely be part of a healthy diet for most people, and after 60, they offer something especially valuable that most people overlook completely. It is not just the protein, it is the quality of the protein. After 60, the body goes through a process called sarcopenia, the natural gradual loss of muscle mass that comes with age. Here is why that matters for belly fat specifically. Muscle tissue burns more energy than fat does, even while you are sitting completely still. Every pound of muscle you lose means fewer calories burned every single day, which gives visceral fat just a little more room to expand. Eggs provide all 9 essential amino acids, the complete set your body needs for muscle repair and maintenance. Starting the morning with a protein-rich breakfast also helps you stay full longer, making it less likely you will be reaching for something sugary by 10:30 in the morning. There is another nutrient in eggs worth calling out by name: choline. Choline directly supports healthy liver function, and your liver is central to how your body processes and mobilizes stored fat. A liver that is running efficiently is far more capable of converting that stored fat into usable energy than one that is constantly overwhelmed. This is part of why nutrition researchers consistently push quality protein early in the day. 2 scrambled eggs and whole grain toast beats a bagel and a bottled coffee drink, not just for blood sugar, but for how your metabolism performs all the way into the afternoon. Pay attention here because the next food is something tens of millions of Americans already drink every single day, and almost none of them know about the compound inside it that has been studied specifically for its effects on metabolism and fat. Number 6. Green tea. If you have always thought of green tea as just a lighter, weaker version of coffee, you are missing the bigger picture. Inside every properly brewed cup is a compound called EGCG, one of the most heavily researched antioxidants in nutrition science, drawing attention specifically for how it appears to support the body's natural fat-burning capacity while working against the chronic inflammation that slows metabolism after 60. Here is what makes it particularly interesting to researchers. EGCG may help activate an enzyme called AMPK. Think of it as a kind of metabolic manager operating inside your cells. When it is functioning well, your cells get more efficient at using energy rather than stockpiling it. That is the kind of shift that, over consistent time, may contribute to a healthier metabolic environment overall. No single drink melts belly fat on its own. I want to be straight with you about that. But swapping out a can of soda or a bottle of sweetened tea for a fresh brewed cup of unsweetened green tea is a simple daily habit with real long-term upside. 1 to 3 cups a day is a reasonable amount. Just watch out for the bottled green teas at the convenience store. Many of them are loaded with added sugar, and you end up losing almost all of the benefit. Brew it fresh. 3 to 4 minutes of steeping. That is genuinely all it takes. Coming up at number 5 is a food the fat-free craze of the 1980s and 90s essentially destroyed the reputation of, and it has been quietly rebuilding its scientific case ever since. Number 5. Extra virgin olive oil. For years, people avoided all fat, operating under the assumption that eating fat automatically translated into gaining fat. We now understand it is far more nuanced than that. Extra virgin olive oil is the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, consistently ranked among the healthiest eating patterns on the planet across decades of research. It is rich in monounsaturated fats, the heart-friendly kind, and it contains plant compounds called polyphenols that help protect blood vessels, support healthier cholesterol levels, and work against the chronic inflammation tied directly to visceral fat accumulation. One compound in particular, oleocanthal, has attracted significant scientific interest for behaving similarly to certain natural anti-inflammatory substances already present in the body. That is a significant part of why people who regularly cook with extra virgin olive oil tend to show better metabolic health markers compared to people relying mostly on processed vegetable oils like corn oil or soybean oil. One important practical note: not all olive oil is the same. Look specifically for the label that says extra virgin. It means the oil was cold pressed and minimally processed, which is what preserves the polyphenols and antioxidants that make it worth using in the first place. Drizzle it over a salad, roast your vegetables in it, finish your grilled salmon with it. 2 tablespoons a day is an easy, sustainable habit that goes well beyond your waistline. This is where I want to tell you about a patient of mine. Her name is Susan, 63 years old, retired high school English teacher from Columbus, Ohio. When she first sat down across from me, she was genuinely frustrated. She had cut back on her portions. She had started taking evening walks around her neighborhood. She had given up dessert during the week, and her belly was still getting bigger. Her clothes were fitting tighter. Her energy was crashing by 2 in the afternoon. Her doctor, a good physician, genuinely well-intentioned, had told her to eat less and move more during a standard visit, and that was about the extent of the guidance she received. What nobody had explained to Susan is what specifically changes after 60. The drop in estrogen that shifts where women deposit fat, away from the hips and thighs, directly toward the abdomen. The gradual muscle loss that slows her resting metabolic rate in ways she cannot feel until the pants no longer button. The shifts in gut bacteria that affect how efficiently her body handles blood sugar. And the creeping inflammation that makes all of it progressively harder to reverse without the right nutritional support. What we worked on together was not a crash diet. It was rebuilding her plate with foods that actively cooperate with the biology of a 63-year-old woman's body. More quality protein early in the day. Beans instead of white rice. Olive oil instead of margarine. The specific foods we are going through right now. Within 3 months, her energy had measurably improved. Her waistline had started to shift. And at her next checkup, her blood sugar numbers moved in the right direction for the first time in 2 years. Her doctor called it impressive. I called it what happens when someone finally gets the right information. Susan's story is not unusual. I see versions of it constantly. The frustrating part is never that people are not trying. It is that they were never given the right tools to work with. That is exactly why this channel exists. Right here at the midpoint of this video, I want to ask you something directly. How old are you right now? Drop your age in the comments below. I read them. The biology of belly fat at 55 looks measurably different from 65, and different again at 72. Drop your age and tell me what state you are watching from. I genuinely want to see the range. Number 4. Cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale. None of these are going to win a beauty contest in the produce aisle. Your body, however, genuinely loves them. They are packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and a group of plant compounds that directly support your liver's natural detoxification processes. That matters more than most people realize. Your liver is one of the hardest working organs in the body. It regulates blood sugar, it processes fat, it breaks down hormones, it clears out metabolic waste every single day. When it is functioning well, your entire metabolism benefits. When it is overburdened by processed food, excess sugar, alcohol, environmental toxins, its ability to efficiently metabolize and mobilize stored fat takes a measurable hit. Cruciferous vegetables also contain compounds researchers believe support healthy hormone balance after 60. Both estrogen in women and testosterone in men decline with age, and those hormonal shifts directly influence where the body preferentially deposits fat, increasingly around the abdomen. Supporting the body's natural hormone regulation may help reduce that tendency over time. Practically speaking, these vegetables are filling, low in calories, and more versatile than most people give them credit for. Roast broccoli with a drizzle of olive oil and garlic at 400 degrees, until the edges just start to crisp. Steam cauliflower alongside salmon. Shred cabbage into soups or salads for texture and fiber. If you have written these off as bland, try a different seasoning. Smoked paprika, a squeeze of lemon, a little Parmesan on top. Sometimes that is genuinely all it takes to transform a food you have been avoiding. This is the most important part of the whole video, so stay with me. The top 3 foods we are about to go through do not just support weight management. Researchers are interested in them because each one appears to influence several different biological processes tied to healthy aging simultaneously. Let me break them down. Number 3, blueberries. Do not let the size fool you. Blueberries are among the most nutrient-dense fruit you can put on a plate, and that deep blue-purple color is the tell. It comes from a family of antioxidants called anthocyanins, among the most extensively studied compounds in the science of aging and metabolic health. After 60, something called oxidative stress tends to accumulate in the body. Think of it as cellular wear and tear that builds up when your body's natural repair systems cannot fully keep pace with daily damage. Oxidative stress contributes to inflammation. Inflammation contributes to lower insulin sensitivity, and lower insulin sensitivity makes it harder for your body to burn fat and easier for visceral fat to continue expanding. Research suggests that regularly eating berries is associated with healthier blood sugar control, improved blood vessel function, and lower levels of inflammatory markers in the bloodstream. And the practical side of this is almost embarrassingly easy to implement. Sprinkle frozen blueberries over your morning oatmeal. Stir them into plain Greek yogurt. Toss a handful into a smoothie. Grab a small bowl of them as an afternoon snack instead of reaching for chips or a candy bar. Fresh or frozen, both work well. Frozen blueberries are picked at peak ripeness and flash frozen, so the nutritional content is often comparable to fresh and usually a good deal cheaper. Consistency matters far more than perfection. A handful most days outperforms a perfect berry bowl once a week. Number 2, fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, trout, herring, mackerel. When most people think about getting healthier, they think about what to remove. Less sugar, less salt, less processed food. And those things matter. But sometimes the biggest metabolic win is not taking something away, it is adding the right thing in. Fatty fish are among the richest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids available in a regular grocery store. And omega-3s are essential fats. Your body genuinely cannot produce them on its own. You have to eat them. They support your cardiovascular system. They protect brain function. They reduce joint stiffness. And they help create a healthier metabolic environment throughout the body by supporting a normal inflammatory response. Pay attention to this because it ties together everything we have talked about today. After 60, low-grade chronic inflammation becomes increasingly common. You may not feel it as pain, but it is quietly affecting your blood sugar regulation, your muscle health, and your body's tendency to store fat viscerally. Omega-3 fats have been extensively studied for supporting the kind of inflammatory balance that allows the metabolism to work more efficiently. People who regularly eat fatty fish tend to show healthier triglyceride levels, better insulin sensitivity, and stronger metabolic health in long-term research. There is also the protein factor, which brings us back to Susan. Preserving muscle mass after 60 is one of the single smartest investments you can make in your future quality of life. More muscle means more calories burned at rest, better balance, better strength, and more independence as the years go on. And staying physically active, which becomes a lot easier when your body feels like it is cooperating instead of fighting you, remains one of the most effective long-term strategies for reducing visceral fat. Aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week if you can work it in, and if fresh wild-caught salmon feels out of reach on your grocery budget, because it can be, do not stress about it. Canned sardines and canned salmon offer a significant portion of the same omega-3 benefit at a fraction of the price. You can find them at any CVS, Walgreens, or regular grocery store for just a few dollars a can. Healthy eating is not about buying the most expensive option on the shelf. It is about making smart, consistent choices with what is actually available to you. And now, number 1. This food is creamy, simple, easy to find at every grocery store in America, and according to a growing body of research, it may support several of the biological processes directly tied to belly fat storage after 60. Number 1. Avocados. Avocados spent years being fundamentally misunderstood. People looked at the fat content on the nutrition label and assumed that automatically meant weight gain. Nutrition science tells a different story today. The fat in avocados is primarily monounsaturated, the same heart-healthy fat found in the extra virgin olive oil we talked about earlier. Rather than promoting fat storage, it helps you feel genuinely full and satisfied after meals, which makes it considerably easier to avoid constant snacking through the afternoon and evening hours. But avocados bring more than healthy fat. They are one of the best whole food sources of fiber you can find at a regular grocery store, and fiber may be the single most underrated nutrient for metabolic health after 60. Fiber slows digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, and helps you stay satisfied longer after eating. All of those things work together to reduce the metabolic conditions under which visceral fat continues to accumulate. Avocados are also an excellent source of potassium, a mineral that a meaningful portion of older Americans simply do not get enough of. Potassium supports healthy blood pressure and proper muscle function, both of which matter enormously for staying physically active. And staying active remains one of the most powerful ongoing tools for keeping visceral fat in check. Half an avocado on whole grain toast in the morning, sliced over a salad at lunch, mixed into a bowl with black beans, a little lime juice, some chopped tomato. These are not complicated changes. They are consistent daily choices, the kind that accumulate into something real over weeks and months. Because here is what I want you to hold on to from today. The real goal was never a smaller number on a tag inside your jeans. It was waking up in the morning with actual energy, keeping up with your grandkids at the park without wearing yourself out after 10 minutes, climbing a flight of stairs without your heart pounding in your ears, traveling, gardening, dancing at a wedding, living your life without feeling like your body is actively working against you at every turn. No single food gets you there alone, but consistent daily habits do. Small choices, repeated across months and years, add up to something your doctor will notice and something your body will feel. So here is what I want you to start with, beginning tonight. First, add one anti-inflammatory food to your very next meal. Garlic in tonight's dinner. A handful of blueberries as your afternoon snack. A drizzle of extra virgin olive oil over whatever you are already cooking. Second, replace one blood sugar spike per day. Swap the white bread for a serving of lentils or beans just once. Trade the bottled sweet tea for brewed green tea or water. Third, prioritize protein in the morning. 2 eggs and some fruit. A can of sardines on whole grain toast. Give your muscle metabolism something to work with before the afternoon slump arrives. Fourth, pick 2 of the 9 foods from today's list that you are not currently eating regularly and commit to adding them for the next 30 days. Not perfectly, just consistently. Fifth, come back and tell me what happened. Now I want to hear from you directly. How old are you and what state are you watching from? Drop it right there in the comments. I want to see who is out there, from California to Florida, from Texas to New York, from the cold Midwest to the Pacific Coast. Every age, every state. This community is real, and I read these. Look, the pharmaceutical industry is not going to send you this information. Your insurance company is not going to call and walk you through the biology of visceral fat after 60. Your primary care doctor, managing a practice of 2,000 patients with 7-minute appointments, genuinely does not have the time. That is not a criticism. That is just the reality of the system we are all living inside. Subscribe to the Dr. Weston YouTube channel and leave a like on this video. We are building toward 10,000 subscribers, and every subscription tells YouTube to put this information in front of more Americans over 60 who need it and are not getting it anywhere else. It is never too late to give your body what it actually needs. Your body has been showing up for you every single day for 60, 65, 70 years. Now it is your turn to return the favor. I am Dr. Weston. I will see you in the next one.